Good afternoon, fam. How y'all doing out there? Come on and like and share the video. It's Heart to Heart Mental Health Sunday. Come on, let's spread the word. Go tell your people to log on. Like and share the video. Thank you, Bethel Bruins. I appreciate that. Come on. Like and share the video. Like and share. And let's get started on this ride today. Yeah. What's happening, good people? How y'all doing? It's so good to see all of y'all. I appreciate each and every one of you for logging on today. Today is Mental Health Sunday, Heart to Heart with Pastor G. This is where I get to wear my therapist hat and talk to you guys from a mental health perspective, as well as a Christian perspective as well, right? We're going to intermingle the both. So go ahead and like and share the video. Invite people to join us today as we have our mental health talk today. And I want to talk to you guys because there's so much going on right now. There's a lot going on in the media with concerns with the world potentially closing back down, and there's so much anxiety and stress. People are lonely. People are dealing with financial issues. There's a lot going on. So I wanted to talk to you today from the topic, the power of mental agreement. The power of mental agreement. You don't even understand how vitally important it is for you to come to a place of awareness of the part you play in everything that transpires in your life. Mental agreement. That word agreement means coming into alignment or alliance with. It's being on one accord. The Bible says that how can two walk together unless they agree, unless they have a agreement, because it's the union or the coming together that allows forward progress. And likewise, when it comes to mental health, the progress, regardless if it's for the good or for the bad, it begins with an agreement. You have to make a decision. You have to come into agreement or alignment with the thoughts that are going on within your mind. See, our brain's responsibility is to process things. That's what it does. It processes. So we think about things. Something happens, we think about it. We process it. That's what the brain is designed to do. It is forever processing things. Now, just because a thought comes into your mind does not mean that you have to align yourself with the thought that comes to your mind. You look in the mirror at yourself and like, dang, oh, I'm fat. I don't look good. I'm not attractive. And you start telling yourself all these negative things on your thoughts. Okay, let's call a spade a spade. Okay, I gained a little weight. But does that mean that now I'm not attractive? Does it now mean that I go on this downward spiral of negative agreement within my mind that makes me feel bad about myself, which ultimately then makes me give off an energy that repels? People don't realize you can give off an energy that either attracts people or you give off an energy that repels people. And it starts with your thoughts. If you're running around thinking things negative about yourself, it acts as a repellent, and it makes people just want to stay away from you. And all along, you keep telling yourself, see, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. And you don't understand. It's the energy that you're projecting that's causing the ramification of the actions that you're seeing, the events that you're seeing. It's a cause and effect to everything. What are you coming into agreement with in your mind? Listen, if someone in your childhood verbally abused you, cursed you with their words and said, you know what, you'll never amount to anything. You'll never make it. You're just like your no good mama. You're just like your sorry daddy. These words, these memories, when replayed within your mind, they only have the ability to impact you when you come into agreement with them. As long as you reject these thoughts, and you make a decision within yourself that you're going to be successful, or that you're not going to make unhealthy decisions for your life, you will see then your life will reflect the fact that you've come into agreement with the thoughts that are opposite of what people said about you, opposite of the memories that keep on going on in your mind. I do this all the time. If somebody tells me I can't do something, I have a choice. I can sit there and process over and over again their words. Oh, they said I couldn't do it. They said I couldn't do it. They said I couldn't do it. And then come into agreement. If they said I couldn't do it, maybe I can't do it. Oh, no, maybe I can't. Oh, I can't. And guess what? The moment I say that, now I'm setting into motion activities that are going to prevent me from doing anything, because I've come into agreement with the thought that I can't. Listen, Henry Ford said it best. He wrote a famous quote. It's so simple, yet it's so profound. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Because once you come into agreement with whatever that thought is, whether it is I can't or it is I can, that agreement sets into motion everything that manifests what you're thinking. Don't you understand that whether your actions are conscious or unconscious, they carry out the thoughts that you have come into alignment with, those things that you come into one accord or agreement with? See, the reality is, it's the story, the narrative that we tell ourselves that's either causing us to live a life full of pain, or it is allowing us to have a life that we're experiencing with joy. It's connected to the thoughts that we have agreed with or aligned ourselves with. So you have to ask yourself today, what am I continuously saying to myself? You see, when someone else starts talking, if I don't like what's being said, I can get up and I can walk out of the room. So I don't have to listen to what's being said. As a matter of fact, if I'm stuck in a situation where I ain't got no choice but to stay, I can disengage. I don't have to listen to the nonsense, especially if it's negative or if it's foolish, if it's putting me down or making me feel bad about myself. I can disengage. I don't have to listen to that mess. But the moment I start thinking, which is talking in my mind, I am stuck listening to everything that's being said. And guess what? The more you hear something, you hear it over and over again, you begin to believe what it is that you're hearing. That's why it's so important for us to guard our ear gates. Guard our ear gates. Because when we hear things over and over again, we begin to come into agreement with the things that we're listening to. And a lot of times the things we're listening to is not helping us, but it's actually destroying our lives. It's helping us to self-sabotage. It's helping us to make decisions that's tearing us down, that's tearing us apart. And it's all because what we're thinking. Listen, as I observe my life and as you observe yours, what are the thoughts that you've come into agreement that have caused the sequence of events that have transpired in your life? I'm going to pause for a moment because I want you to really think about that. What thoughts have you come into agreement with that have caused the chaos or the joy that you are in right now, in this moment, currently experiencing? No one did it. Your thoughts did. This pandemic, it's taking a toll on a lot of people, some for the good, a lot for the bad. But the question you must ask yourself is, what are the thoughts that you've come into agreement with concerning this pandemic? See, we're quick to point the finger and blame others for our situations. And I'm going to agree with you. There are a lot of things that are forced upon us that we don't have a choice in. But after the event or things that have been forced upon us happen, we get to decide what thoughts we have concerning the event. And it's the thoughts that we have that impact our lives. See, there's a mental health theory out called the ABC method. Okay. How the ABC method works is there's an activating event. And I know I've talked about this before, but I'm going to continue to talk about it because it impacts everything that we do. The Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And it aligns with this theory, which is why I am such a big advocate of it. So the activating event. There's an event that transpires in our life. Over and over again, we experience events. Activating event. Then there's a B, belief. What do we believe? Or what do we think? What are our thoughts concerning it? And then C, the consequence is our emotions. We're either angry, we're upset, we're happy, we're excited, we're sad, we're depressed, we're anxious. All of these consequences, these emotional consequences are not the result of the event. And that's what we believe. We believe that when an event happens, it causes us to have these emotions. Oh my God, I'm mad, I'm pissed off, I'm excited, I'm angry, all because of the event. But that's not the truth. It's not the activating event, the A activating event that causes the C consequential emotions. No, it's what we believe about the event. It's our thoughts, it's our thinking about the event that drives how we feel. I will give you a great example of that. If my husband comes home late for work and I've made a delicious meal and I want to sit down at the table and I want to have dinner with my husband, and I'm all excited. I'm making this delicious meal. I'm making something I know he's going to enjoy. I'm putting all his favorites together and I put it at the table for him to eat. And I've set the table and I'm waiting patiently for him to come home from work. And he comes home late because he got off work late. That's the activating event. He got off work late. Now, I can have two options. I can believe in my mind, I cannot believe this. I cannot believe this. He late after I did all this work. I done slaved over this stove. I've been working all day long, just like he did. And after I finished working all day long on this stove, now I put this meal together and then he can't even show up on time. And if I believe that, I'm going to be mad and I'm going to be pissed off and I'm having an attitude for the rest of the night. That's the consequence. That's the consequence. But the reality is the consequence didn't happen because he came home late for work, the activating event. No, it was my thoughts. It was the belief. It's what I believed that caused the consequences. Give you the same exact example. Activating event. My husband comes home late from work because he had to work late after I cooked a delicious meal for him. I wanted to spend some one-on-one time with him and eat this meal. I can believe in my heart, man, I'm so grateful. I got a hardworking husband. I am so thankful that even in this pandemic, he is working hard to provide for me, to make sure that I can buy the food that's sitting on the table that I prepared for him. I'm just so grateful that I don't have a lazy man that just wants to lay around the house and sleep all day long, but he is a hardworking man. I am so grateful. And I can greet him at the door and I can see the consequences of my emotions. I could be excited to see him, grateful to see him, and say, you know what? I prepared this meal for you. I'm going to warm it up because it got a little chilly waiting on you, but that's okay. Go in there and wash your hands and get ready and come down and sit down at the table and let's eat and enjoy ourselves. And I can have a good spirit and be happy and grateful that my husband is a hardworking man. You see my point? The activating event doesn't determine how we feel. It's what we believe. It's our thoughts. It's what we think that causes the emotional consequences. We are in control of the emotional consequence. We want to point to events and use them to justify our current situation. But the fact remains, it is the belief, it is the thoughts that we come into agreement that are impacting our lives, not the actual event. Going back to the pandemic, you can decide to agree with the part of the population that feels like life is ruined because of this pandemic. You won't be able to make no money because of this pandemic. You won't be successful because of this pandemic, and blah, 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 because of the pandemic. You can choose. to come into agreement with that negativity, or you can decide to agree with the Bible that says God is my source, and therefore come to an understanding that any job that you possess is just a resource being utilized to benefit you by God, your source. That's all it is. This is just a resource that's being utilized by God. And once you come into agreement with that thought, then guess what? You come to a place of peace within your heart. The consequences of the emotions, you don't get all filled with anxiety. You don't get all angry and pissed off when the world has the potential of shutting down, because you come into agreement with a belief that puts you at peace, instead of coming to an agreement with something that makes you fill your heart with chaos and turmoil. You are in control of what you believe, of what you think, not the events that transpire in this world, not the chaos and the confusion and the drama that happens in your life. No, what do you believe? What have you come into agreement in your mind concerning the event that's taking place? Because as long as your mind has come into the agreement with the fact that God, not the job, not the world, but God is your source, then you understand that just like he provided this job that you might have lost because of the pandemic and the world shut down, God will provide another one, a better one that won't shut down in the event of another shutdown when the world shuts down. He can provide a position for you that no matter what happens in the world, you still have an abundance of everything that you need if you come into agreement with the fact that God, not man, is your source. God has the ability to provide. And guess what? His provision is not contingent upon the economy, nor is his ability to provide for you contingent upon a pandemic and whether or not they're going to shut the world down. It doesn't impact God's power to provide. So if it doesn't impact God's ability to provide, then there's nothing to fear. When your mind is in agreement that God will provide. When things get tight, you go back to the agreement in your mind and you say, now, God, I believe you. God, I'm trusting in you that you're going to provide. And as long as your mind is focused on that agreement, your spirit remains at peace as you wait for God to do what he always does. And that's make a way where there is no way. You've got to decide what you are going to agree with. What thoughts are you agreeing with concerning your finances? What thoughts are you agreeing with concerning your marriage? What thoughts are you agreeing with concerning your children, concerning your health, concerning your job and your position? What are you coming into agreement with? Because I've made a decision that I'm only coming into agreement with things that are going to cause my mental health to get better, because it's filled with joy and expectancy of what God is able to do, instead of coming to an agreement with negativity that brings me down and brings me to a place where I'm filled with anxiety and depression and self-loathing and all of these things that are happening as a direct result of my agreement that's going on in my mind. Regardless of what obstacles, issues, or anything that you've gone through, you've got to make up your mind today what you're going to believe about it. The reality of life is that there is some good and there is some bad. And it's always occurring. Good and bad is always occurring. And here's the truth. Sometimes the scale doesn't appear to be balanced when it comes to how much good you receive versus how much bad you receive. So then if a lot of bad is occurring, what are you coming to agreement in your mind? Are you telling yourself that, okay, I'm getting a whole lot of bad over here in my life. I'm looking over at so-and-so and they appear to not be having as much bad happening to them. So clearly I must deserve only bad things. I clearly don't deserve no good because ain't no good happening. Are you telling yourself that you're cursed or that no good thing is going to ever happen to you? Is that what you're telling yourself? Are you giving yourself a pass to remain negative because you come into agreement with the lie that there's no sense of being positive because nothing good ever happens to you? Let's dissect that and let's point out the facts. See, because you need to understand that you have the ability of changing your current situation by simply changing the thoughts that you are agreeing with. So if you tell yourself the lie and you come into agreement with that lie, guess what's going to happen? That which you've agreed with. If you keep telling yourself nothing good is going to happen, nothing good is going to happen, you agree with that, okay, nothing good is going to happen, I believe it, nothing good is going to happen, my energy is start projecting it. Now I start self-sabotaging. I start doing things that create bad things happen, that make more bad things happen. I keep doing things and putting myself in positions. I keep doing things that cause bad things to happen to me. And then I blame it on the fact that nothing good ever happens. No, your actions are what's dictating what's happening to you. It's because you've come into agreement with a lie. You've done that. You've done that to yourself. That's not the world doing it to you. That's not someone else doing that to you. That's you doing that to you. You made the decision to come in agreement with that lie, and now your actions are manifesting it. No, life's not perfect, nor is life fair at times. But if you come into agreement with the fact that you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you, then when times are rough, you push through and you keep pushing because you understand that there's seasons in this life, and there's going to be seasons of good and there's going to be seasons of bad. And if I trust God in the process and come into agreement in my mind that I'm just going through a season, then guess what? I'm going to see good things. I'm going to see better days. I'm going to see positive things happening to me because I'm coming to agreement in my mind that I'm just going through a season. Therefore, I'm not going to self-sabotage. I'm not going to make poor choices because I understand that what I'm experiencing in this moment is just a season, and it's going to change, that things are going to get better. It's what I believe in my mind. Just like some of you have come into agreement with the fact that you're lonely, and because of this pandemic and all this shutting down and social distancing, that you're never going to make friends. You're never going to have anybody to care about you. You're never going to do this. And you come in agreement with those lies. When there's so many opportunities for engagement, it don't have to be in person. They got meetups, meetup.com, where they got all kinds of things where you can meet people that have some of the same hobbies and interests that you have, for cooking and all kinds of stuff that you can do online to engage with others, to make friends. They got groups on Facebook and groups on Instagram that you can join and actually connect with real people and talk to them on the phone and engage with them via Zoom. There's so many opportunities for engagement. The Bible says he that wants to be a friend has to first become friendly. What are you coming to agreement with? You don't have to be lonely just because of this pandemic. You can make friends. You can be able to engage with people and still be safe and not contact this virus. What are you coming to agreement with in your mind? I'm just giving you some examples, but I really want you to be curious about your life and everything that's happened. A, activating event. B, belief or thoughts. C, consequence, the emotions. Happiness, sadness, joy, peace, anxiety, depression, anger, frustration. What emotional consequence you have is contingent upon what you believe. What are your thoughts coming into agreement with and alignment with? That's what's causing how you feel, not the activating event. I want you to really think about what I'm saying, and I want you to go back and assess your thoughts. What are you thinking that you've agreed with? And then look at the trail of actions and how you have made a decision to act based upon what you believe. And that's why you're seeing what you're seeing. Okay. The job that you have is not paying money. Go back and get a trade. Go back to school and learn something else. There's ways that you can go and get more money. There's always another answer to help you become better, to grow, and to do things in a more way that's beneficial to your life, but it's contingent upon what you believe. You can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. Yes, you may be going through a season, but seasons change. These are the thoughts that you need to come into alignment with, in agreement with, so that your life can be more fulfilling, so that you can have more joy, so you can experience more peace, so that you can experience more hope. You have to come into alignment, in agreement with these type of thoughts. That's why it's important to have affirmations every day. Every day I'm getting better and better. That's one of my favorite affirmations. Okay, I messed up. So what? Every day I'm getting better and better. Every day I'm becoming a better wife. Every day I'm becoming a better therapist. Every day I'm becoming a better pastor. Every day I'm getting better and better. I mess up along the way, but I'm getting better and better. And that's what you got to start telling yourself. Get thoughts. Come in alignment with thoughts. An agreement with thoughts that are going to push you to your next level instead of pulling you down and making you go worse and worse in a mental state, pulling you down worse in your mind and pulling you down ultimately in your life, where you're not accomplishing the things that you want because you're coming to agreement with the wrong thoughts about you and your life. I pray that this word has met you at your point of need and that you'll make a decision to come into agreement with thoughts that help you and not harm you, thoughts that are reasonable and not unreasonable, thoughts that are beneficial and not harmful. Until next week is my prayer that the blessing of the Lord make you rich and add no sorrow to it.